I wouldn't want you to think I was being dishonest earlier. But, you know, I think you should equally apply skepticism to ghosts and the Holy Ghost, to God and UFOs and any silly, strained claim. It is true that historically the JREF has focused only on testable claims of paranormal and pseudoscience. And I was formerly of the opinion that nonprofits are best when they limit their scope and they don't try to do everything. And if they try to be all things to all men, sometimes they dilute their effectiveness. But I've been persuaded on this point, and I think all of us should be everything. And in fact, it stands to reason that if you're not an atheist, you can't be a proper skeptic. People like Martin Gardner and others in the history of skepticism who were deists or believed in Spinoza's God or believed in panentheism or pantheism. Well, in a really obvious sense, they were an anomaly and shouldn't matter at all for contemporary skepticism right now. Next point, and I think this is a really important one. Don't be alarmed. Realize that our movement, our cause, already has all the spokespeople it needs. We certainly don't need any more writers, magicians for God's sake, podcasters, bloggers. We don't need any paranormal investigators. We have enough. You fit best in skepticism when you're a consumer of our product, rather than competing with us and trying to advance skepticism on your own. Now, the flip side of the coin here is, if you're rebellious enough and you aspire to actually sort of advance skepticism on your own, say you want to become skeptifamous, you should realize you don't actually need any real expertise or training to do so. What I mean by that is you just need a deep commitment to the truth, and you need ambition, and that's all. No special training. It does not take any special expertise to advance skepticism, just a commitment to telling other people that they're wrong. You do not need to learn proper investigative methods if you're going to investigate a paranormal case. You don't need to learn about the methods of psychics if you're going to debunk them. If the local media calls you and they ask you how that local medium did her or his feat, you merely need to say, she was a fraud. You don't need to know anything about the psychological processes or the manipulative techniques that these hucksters may be using. I think you get the point there. Here's a good one that you need to comprehend if you're going to be a perfect skeptic. You are a besieged minority as a skeptic. You are a cognitive minority, or what Christopher Hitchens, I appreciated when he called us a cognitive elite, and I honestly sort of agree with that. Racial and sexual minorities, they've had their day in the sun, right? They've all fought for their rights. Now it is our time as skeptics. Skeptics of the world unite. That is my clarion call. We need to start fighting for our rights. Since everybody else got their rights, it's our turn now. Very important if you're going to be a perfect skeptic, don't be distracted in your skepticism by all of this talk, my God, this exhausting talk about diversity. Skepticism is for us. It's not for everyone. It's only really for us. Just for people like us, smart generally, middle class generally male, generally white, generally straight, Randy and me accepted. Consider that the last TAM having 50% women on the program and 40% paid registrants, that was sort of just a fluke, right? It's an accident. We don't know how it happened. It certainly wasn't the result of hard work, outreach, and strategic decisions. Now, the last And honestly, the most important thing that you should get from me based on my vast experience as a leader in the skeptics movement, gained over these many years, 15 years now, is please, if you want to be a good skeptic, do the exact opposite of every single thing I've said today. Thank you. So, I think we have some questions. It looks like we do have a couple minutes. If anyone wants to challenge my authority, I wouldn't advise it. But are there any questions? Maybe not. Maybe this is just so comprehensive.
Please, if you could approach the microphone in the centre aisle. They usually need a little encouragement, DJ. So could somebody go first, please?
Well,
it's usually the prof.
I do have a check. Incidentally, after the talk out at the table, we have a limited number of the $1 Million Challenge checkbooks available for you, some other things, some stickers, some other things, so be sure to avail yourselves of that. So, a couple questions here,
yeah. Yeah, just move it over, yeah, that's fine. Tell us your name first, and then ask your question.
My name's Linda. Having been a bad skeptic and put a few people's backs up, is there anything I can do to be a better skeptic in the future? And to, because I've now got people who just say, oh, you're one of those people who disagrees with everything and blah, blah.
I love that question, not only because, so put everything I said aside, obviously, I'm going to get out of that role. I love the question, and not only because I identify with it so personally. I came up through a fundamentalist church. I went away to Bible college. I became an atheist at Bible college. Diderot has this great line, nothing like a good Jesuit education to make you an atheist. I got a liberal arts education, became a skeptic. And the first few years, there wasn't kind of, I don't want to disparage the process, but there wasn't honest engagement with people who disagreed. There was just headbutting. And it's almost like that's developmentally appropriate, you know, where you just want to tell everybody how wrong they are. And I don't want to sound supercilious for real now by talking about stages of development, but I think a mature skeptic realizes, my gosh, people are going to believe unlike us. I think that science and reason are the best route to arriving at the truth. But the advice to you, in answer to your question, is first, don't be hard on yourself, right? People say, oh, you only ever like to disagree. Sometimes that's just fun. You know, skeptic pub gatherings, we like to debate, and I think there's something beneficial to that. And the second